Hello, loyal listener. I am thrilled to tell you about a very special in-person event that I am hosting this summer. It's going to be Saturday, August 16th. I am hosting a screening of the full-length version of an incredible movie called Rescued Hearts. And the filmmakers, Dana Crocier and Chrisanna Sexton, will be at the event live to watch the movie with you and also to answer your questions and talk about the film afterwards. I am so honored to be able to host this event. And I have some fabulous nonprofit partners that the film will help to benefit. Little Bit Therapeutic Riding, and also SAFE, which is Save a Forgotten Equine Rescue, and Care for Life Rescue and Sanctuary in Auburn, Washington, where I do my equus coaching. It's going to be an amazing event. It's life-changing. This is not just a movie, it is a movement. So if you are ever curious about the horse-human healing connections, this is a film not to be missed. So if you are in the greater Seattle area, please check out my website, get your tickets for this event. It will probably sell out, and so you should get your tickets now because we're only 2 weeks away. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you, and I hope to see you at the screening. Welcome to Midlife Strategies for Badass Women. I'm your host and Chief Badass Strategist, Sue Willoughby. Today's episode is a real treat. It was my honor to interview a truly inspiring badass woman, Ingrid Hu Dahl. She is the author of Sun Shining on Morning Snow. And in this episode, we talk about the messy, beautiful, nonlinear journey of becoming who you really are. Ingrid shares her experience of navigating life as a queer, biracial feminist, how big tech burnout triggered a midlife unraveling, and the surprising freedom that came from letting go of control and embracing curiosity. We get real about grief, identity, sexuality, performance culture, and the lifelong process of unlearning superiority, people-pleasing, and perfectionism. Ingrid drops truth bomb after truth bomb, reminding us that healing isn't linear, reinvention doesn't have an age limit, and softness is a strength, not a liability. Trust me, this episode is going to leave a very beautiful mark. You're listening to Midlife Strategies for Badass Women, the no BS podcast for women over 40 who are sick of playing by someone else's rules. I'm your host, Sue Willoughby, badass midlife strategist, truth teller, and professional fire starter for midlife reinvention. Around here, we don't do fluff. We do real talk, bold strategies, and badass breakthroughs. Because midlife isn't a crisis, it's your damn power move. If you're all in, unapologetic, and ready to reinvent, let's get started. Hello, badass listeners. I am so excited to be here today with my very special guest. I just finished listening to her book, and it was very inspiring and emotional for me, and we'll talk about that later. And I'm not going to keep you guys in suspense, but she is a true badass. And I am so inspired by her. We were having a little conversation before we got on the mic here. And without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guest, Ingrid Hu Dahl. Ingrid, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to talk about your book and your life and all of the things that you have been able to accomplish and all the struggles that you've gone through. And I say struggles, but it's really a journey, right? And it's all such an important thing to understand, whether at whatever stage in your life you're at, that there are going to be struggles and that you can get past them. So I'd love to just kind of jump in and talk about where you are in your life right now. And I know all of the things that you did to get here, but let's start at a point that you feel is important to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sue, for having me on your show. This is really exciting. And hello to your viewers and listeners. Gosh, I think it's probably important to share that I had a bit of like an early midlife crisis in my career. So I was a career bound woman. I had like sights on continuing to climb the ladder. I was on my track to do that. And I entered big tech and it kind of like swallowed me whole and shat me out. It was a very humbling but very confusing experience. And I think I think some people call that ego death, even though I do a lot of work around self awareness and emotional intelligence, it was very helpful for me as a woman. And I think as a woman of color to let go of some of that attachment to this is my identity, like my
Mm,
title, this journey. And I'm starting there because I think what makes us really truly badass are these moments where we sit with the pain and confusion and the difficulty and allow ourselves in this healing process to like let go
yeah.
and step into a tremendous amount of love and power. It's like this combination of your true spiritual power and getting clarity on like how do I want to show up. I think I've brought this up a couple times like in conversations, but I love when people are like, what do you want people to say in your eulogy? And I
Uh,
have a very clear sense of what people would say, and I want to continue to nurture like that essence that I bring to this world, to people, to connect people, not reading off my resume.
yeah.
And so I'm saying that because it's possible that you are watching or you are listening and you're like, oh my God, I am absolutely in that grind. And it feels like in moments super, super great. Like I feel like on top of the world. And in moments where there's a lot of fear. And just know you'll be okay.
I think that's a beautiful place to start. And you use the word identity, and I think that having that midlife, for lack of a better word, crisis, it is usually centered around identity. I think for women, whatever that is, and whatever identity they have been in, it's a huge challenge to say, how do I separate myself from that? How do I create a new identity? And
Hmm.
they just don't know. And I know that you are a coach as well.
Hmm.
So, how do we help people, women, understand all of those things that you just said, and to where do you begin? Like,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah,
And like
that's a big topic.
well, I love it because it sort of never stops. Like in my journey, in my book, I kind of talk about this like long drawn out coming out process, which I know you and I were chatting about. You're like, oh my God, just kiss the girl already. I'm like, I know, I know. But like, it's amazing how like identity can take its time and it
Hmm.
has a lot of different vignettes.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people like using that peeling back the onion. But for me, it was sort of like even identifying like what vegetable I am in that analogy, like what cuisine do I want to be? Like what
Mm,
is the longer strategy here to like farm these different fruits for sustainability? Like not to be super nerdy, but
I love it.
truly, I think identity is not just your experience alone; it's a shared one, and it should
Hmm.
be shared. And what I was surprised, I didn't think it's not like I wrote this book being like, oh, people are going to love this story and it's a story worth telling. Like, I did not go into it like that at all. I literally was like, I am processing a tremendous amount of grief and I want to share this story because it also shares part of my mom's story and the hard stuff. And
Yeah.
I want people to connect with that. But it's fascinating that people who have been listening or reading the story are saying, oh my God, I feel less alone. Because I didn't realize how silent a lot of my experiences were. And now it's very loud. And I appreciate that. It's like open, laid bare.
Mm.
I think we can't underestimate the power, not just in ourselves, but externally when we share our stories and are not just
Yeah.
having a quiet, lonely experience. And we don't even know it's lonely because I don't think we know any different. But now that I have my story out there, I'm like, wow, must have been pretty lonely.
Yeah, and I did get a sense of that from your book, that the loneliness, and the different things that you were going through. And I grew up as an only child, and my parents divorced when I was fairly young. And I chose to live with my mother, who was an alcoholic. And so, I mean, I was like really by myself. And I think part of that has to do with some of my badass experiences where I was just like, well, shit, let's just throw the shit against the wall and see what sticks. And, you know, how bad could it be? Right. You know, you kind of get to that where like, well, I'm kind of taking care of myself a little bit. My mother was very capable and everything, but she had her own shit that she was dealing with, or I should say not dealing with. Which left me to be like, is this my shit or is this your shit? And I mean, that went on up until, you know, as I shared with you this morning, I was listening to the last couple chapters of your book about your mom and her illness and subsequent passing and so forth. And my heart went out because I never really resolved things with my mother. Our relationship just never, I had to sort of disengage in order to move forward with myself and be a whole, healthy, happy person. And even though I was there sort of at the end, I wasn't there, if you know what I mean. And so I really, your recounting of that or your story around that was just, especially knowing how you bounce back and forth with your mom and your relationship and you being gay and, you know, all of that stuff. A lot of stuff to unpack, I understand, but, but, you know, I didn't have that experience with my mom about being gay. I came out when I was 17 and she's like, oh yeah. And by the way, and I'm like, I know you're a lesbian too. All right, great.
That's so
great.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool, but not cool.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. You don't want your mom showing up at the bars that you work at, right? Or anything else, or deciding that she likes one girlfriend over another. And then I'm like, really? No, stop. Get your nose out of my life, please.
Yeah, Mom. Come on.
Yeah. Not cool. So there's, you know, it's a blessing and a curse. All right. Where was I going with that? I have no idea. But anyway.
I liked it. That was fun. I'm like, gosh, was my mom
I can't
too?
wait to. Yeah, right.
That'd been really cool if she was.
That would have been, right?
Because we got a lot of gayness in the family, the broader, you know, Asian family, especially like some of the mixed race kiddos. And, you know, it's great. I think that's so awesome. But, you know, I don't know if other listeners or viewers relate to this, but sometimes like you wonder, you know, if your parents lived in a different kind of time where it was a little bit more open. And we're still grappling with this right now. It's like, oh my gosh, so heartbreaking. But I wonder, like, I bet a lot of our parents would have showed up differently in their maybe more authentic versions of themselves.
Yeah.
And perhaps if they were able to have that freedom, they would be a lot less disgruntled, less judgmental, less angry, less hurt, less challenging to have a connection with. Because if you're not showing up as your true self, it's really hard to connect with people authentically. And I think this is what this is about, is for us to connect and not hide or compromise who we truly are. Like, because my mom desperately wanted me to be straight. Like, she had these
I got that
dreams.
message.
Yeah. She was like, no, I picture it. It's like your whole extended in-laws and this husband and you have 2 kids. And I was like, oh my God, let me tell you, if that was my reality, I would be so unhappy. Holy shit, Mom. But
yeah, right. But that's, you know, in that generation and your grandmother's generation, who I thought was adorable. And she was funny. She always wanted you to go to DC and marry a congressman there. Right. I love that. Senator. Yeah. Oh, senator. Like, sorry. Yeah.
Cool.
You went, why not just shoot for the first lady? Why, you know, why not?
Yeah. Also, have you seen House of Cards? Right. Like, that's brutal. Like, scary.
Yeah. So, yeah, I get that, which fortunately I didn't get that kind of pressure from my mother. She knew better. Well, clearly she knew better. And like I said, I came out at a really young age. And I mean, like, I knew I was gay. I had to laugh at one of the comments in your book was when you were at rock camp, band camp, rock camp. And it was like, you're so gay, dude. Like, it's about time when that woman kissed you because she misunderstood what you were asking for. She was like,
oh yeah, sure. No problem.
I'll kiss you. Yeah.
A kiss.
And you're like, whoa. Oh,
this
okay.
is amazing. And she's like, bye.
Okay. See ya.
What? Oh, so much of a struggle. I didn't even need my mom to be difficult. It was an internal struggle.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I wish I had, like I say, when I first had this infatuation with this character, Toby,
Yes, I remember
who's
that.
much
That was
older
when
than
I was
me.
like, she
Yeah,
sounded stunning, by the way.
oh, she was really hot. I
Yes,
was
she
like
sounded hot.
completely following my intuition of just being like, oh my God, I'm so infatuated with you.
Yeah.
And I really do, like I put it in the book, I really wished I just had asked her questions around like, what's happening to me? Why do I feel this way? And I'm frozen. And help me understand, like, what was it like for you? Like, I don't think we get modeled those kinds of questions and interactions. I certainly didn't grow up with, representation like the L word. And it helped a lot. I know it wasn't perfect, but that show really helped me see I'm so gay, dude.
Right.
Because I really am. Like, I'm so gay.
You're so gay.
I'm so gay.
You're so gay. I'm glad you finally realized that.
I know, it took forever.
Well, I think you knew. It was just like you had all this other stuff going on.
So much stuff.
The interracial stuff. And I love that your father was, mostly supportive, except for like one time when he's like, no, not happening.
Yeah, supporting my mom. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of stuff. Okay, sorry. This is how I am. I'm like, oh, squirrel. Well, the book was just so fun, and it's so fresh in my memory, and the way I get there. It is, yay! Sun shining on morning snow.
Isn't this such a cool cover too?
I love it.
Hannah Barczyk. She's this awesome.
It's amazing.
Wow, so talented and so like feminist. Does so many great feminist like visuals.
Yeah,
I can't believe people can take an entire story like mine and make an image like that. I'm like, whoa,
yeah,
what a talent.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. People that can interpret things graphically or visually it's amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. So where are we? Oh yeah, living authentically. When you finally did, and I loved your when you finally. Okay, so you've done so many things, right? You were telling me I was an inspiration before we got on, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're the one that's like been in multiple bands, been a performer, writer, all of these things. Equestrian, we forgot equestrian when you were young. That was so sad when they hosed you down in the stall. That made me.
Oh, I know.
The mean horse girls, because there are a lot of mean horse girls out there. I got to say that. There
are. There's mean girls. Period.
Yes, there are. But you've gotten through all of that. So, all of your iterations, right? And you have reinvented yourself, and there is, like with me, right? I've done a lot of different things. They're somehow linked. Right. There are threads, and there are everything that when they come together, they make this beautiful tapestry, and that beautiful tapestry is you and your life currently.
Well said.
So which of these areas and iterations that you've been through do you think had the biggest impact on you living your authentic life?
Oh my goodness.
That's a tough one.
It's a great one. And I think you're right that it's a woven tapestry. So being a young kid and having that bold, badass inclination to just be with horses and be an equestrian and not having any fear around that told me a lot. So I think that whole journey, and also that learning of a communication that's not spoken, like a lot of rhythm and heart. It's amazing how much horses can teach you. So I learned a lot. Like my first real good teachers was probably horses. Yeah. And some of the instructors are kind of sexy too, all female, which I also was like, ooh, look at her. Yeah. And not realizing it.
Nice breeches.
Leather and straps and like, okay, we could go down this way. Like, wow. Little kid me was like, damn. I think being a musician taught me a lot too. And it was a lot. What I put in the book is like, there's so much of a thread around the spotlight, and how do you not control it? Because it's kind of impossible to, but how do you choose the kind of light that you want to be in? And that took a lot of time to figure that out and play with it and experiment with it. to get to a point where in the book you see like, ooh, it does not feel good. Being kind of treated like a sex object or character to behold from women as a musician on stage. Like, probably a lot of people are like, what do you mean? That sounds awesome. And you're like, actually, it doesn't really feel good because it's not about you. There's no curiosity about who you are. It's just like, yeah. And the assumption is that you're like down to like bone, but you know, you're tired and hungry. That's not at all the top thing on your mind. Trust me, I had great times on tour, but still. I think also like learning feminism and women's and gender studies was a huge moment. It was like an awakening in college. And I was so angry and hurt that no one had seemed to share this reality, this truth with me. It was like a 30-minute drive from campus with all this information and all of these professors and all this like incredible like knowledge. And to get it in like a semester was just so frustrating. And then of course I like dove headfirst into to the deep end of the pool of feminism and like got a master's degree and just thought it was the best. And it is the best. But my mom didn't understand it. But to me, similar to like the horse, like, no, this is like where I'm going.
Yeah.
I also felt like it was a non-negotiable. Like, this is not negotiable to not do this. Like, there's something in me that's saying this is like the path. Oh, you can't get a job like that. Well, we don't know because it's still relatively early.
Right.
And it was very applicable to so many of the roles that I've had. So those are probably the top three. And I think just like recreating relationships to women and friendships because they were so strained and like insecure, literally, like not that I was insecure, but they were not secure friendships and relationships. So to help evolve that and heal from that and have like sisterhood friends, and then also have this like incredible person who I have the great honor to be married to and just like love her so much. It's been 15 years and like it feels like the shortest amount of time because every day is just like feels right. You know, it just feels like where I'm supposed to be. And I'm grateful to her every day. So that's probably another one is healing what a real badass female friendship, a real one, a true one, is like, because I just didn't have them growing up.
Yeah, that's interesting. And back to my tapestry thing, all of those things were kind of woven together, and it wasn't one thing over another. It was the layers. It was the you learn something here, you learn something there, you bring it into, and you're like, okay, now I don't need that. You throw that away and figure out what is serving you and what isn't. And I think that is a big thing as well. I think people have a hard time letting go of those things that are no longer serving them. I know, that I hung on to things and people and relationships that weren't healthy and that were no longer serving me way longer than I should have. And I think, I don't know if you can, like you said, now you understand what a real badass female relationship or friendship is. And I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. Like I said, I was an only child. I felt like I never fit in. I was, I knew I was queer. But I didn't know what to do with that. And then, then I come out and I'm like, okay, now I've got to try and fit in with this group. And it's a whole other different thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole other, I'm like, okay, well, I'm in the right place, but now where do I go? What do I do with this? So, geez, I'm starting all over again. Hello, my beautiful badass. I hope you're enjoying my summer solo series about reclaiming your midlife. If this has gotten you wondering about, wow, yeah, I really do need to do something here, and I'm a people pleaser and I just don't know how to get out of it, sign up for my newsletter. I offer a lot of tips weekly. It comes out on Thursdays. And if you're ready to rock and roll, just book a curiosity call. It's not a coaching call. It's not a sales call. It's just a, hey, this is what's going on with me. What the heck can I do about it? Kind of a call. I'd love to chat with you and help you on your journey and guide you down the path, whatever that path may be. So connect with me through my newsletter. You can also follow me on Instagram, Sue_Willoughby, or just go to my website, check out some of my coaching stuff. And I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great summer. This is an incredible conversation that I had with Ingrid, and she's also going to be in the Seattle area for a fireside chat at Charlie's Queer Books on Friday, August 15th. It's at 7 p.m. So if you're in the Seattle area, please join Ingrid. Please go to this chat. She is an amazing author and speaker and coach, and you will not want to miss it. She's so fun, so smart, and just incredible. So I think you're really going to enjoy this episode. One more thing before I let you go. Don't forget to sign up for my newsletter, which is an extension of this podcast. Really, it is lots of cool information and actionable steps and stories and tips delivered directly to your inbox every Thursday. Can you speak to a little bit about letting go of some of the things that you felt no longer served you?
Yeah, one of the biggest things I had to unlearn, which is probably kind of surprising, is this relationship with superiority. And that might surprise people, but when your life is about showing a spotlight about how you're different and you don't belong and you're this outsider and you exist kind of flowing in life and people are like, ooh, you're attractive, you're exotic, you're different, and want to other you, or there's like an exoticization of otherness. And there's so much judgment and mean girl stuff. I think there's a correlation between protecting yourself to judge others pretty harshly to like keep distance, which then can breed superiority, like over others. Like I am more superior than you. And it's a really strange one because it's tied a lot with privilege, but it's also tied to systems of oppression. And I think we learn how to oppress and judge and hold others back, which you don't even realize you're doing. And I'm not saying I was holding other people back. I think what was happening is I would walk around in the streets of, say, Taipei, where everyone's looking at me as if I'm a celebrity, which I am not, and having to really challenge that part of like the ego that is saying, I'm different, I can't connect with anyone, I'm other. And somehow, because people are looking at me in this way, I have superiority, and let that go and say no. Or being a musician on stage, like, I'm not superior, I'm not more important. I don't want this kind of attention to begin with in this way. And that's like an honest share is like, I think everybody could consider in what ways they reposition themselves as a bit superior or better than somebody through judgment. And when you actually strip behind that is like, I just want to be loved. I just want to feel like I have a good friend, but I'm using that to protect myself. Like, I think that's where we've gotten into a lot of trouble as a country and how that superiority has created such division. So it's a moment to just be really self-reflective and honest and hopefully vulnerable. Because if I can do it, still getting a lot of like, what are you? Yeah, you can. Everyone can.
What are you? Yeah, I hadn't thought about the superiority aspect of that. I definitely have experienced the yes, and I do see how it translates into superiority. Like you're judging someone, you're putting like, well, yes, I am better than you. I am not.
Right.
I am not you. I am not that person. So of course I'm better. That's interesting. Yeah. Putting that aside is huge. And I think it does come for me. I know when it was insecurity for me. And it's interesting how insecurity can turn into superiority. You're like,
of
wait,
course.
what? Wait,
yeah.
huh?
Deeply insecure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was always tall for my age. As you know, I'm 5'10", and I was always big in class, and big and tall, not big that way, but I was always tall and bigger than the boys, growing up and stuff.
That's
and
awesome.
my grandmother used to make my clothes, and I'm like, please don't do that because it's embarrassing, and it was just weird. And it took a really long time for me to like not wear cropped pants, because as a tall girl, my pants were always short because they didn't make them in tall, the longer sizes, right? So now I'm like, screw it, I'm wearing the crop pants, I don't care. But I always felt awkward, and it was interesting. Like when I started as an adult, like I would travel internationally, and I'd go to countries like Spain or something, where the women are very feminine, and they're very they're smaller, and they're very attractive, and they look at me like, oh, Godzilla, what are you doing here in this woman's shop? You're in the wrong. It was uncomfortable. So I'm like, so sometimes I'd feel superior, and sometimes I really would feel like shit and really inferior,
Totally.
and like wanting to hide. And so, yeah, it took me a long time to get over that and just be like, you know what, I don't really give a shit anymore. And I really, I don't. I mean, obviously I do. I want people to like me, but not in the people pleasing way that I grew up with. Like, I have to make everyone like me. And like, no. I mean, they'll either like me or they won't. It's like coaching. It's like, I'm not everybody's coach.
Right. And not everybody's coachable.
Yeah.
Or ready for it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
My wife is 5'9", so tall is very attractive, by the way.
Thank you.
So yay, 5'10".
Yeah. Well, I think I'm probably 5'9.5" now.
Hilarious. That does happen, the shrinking. I keep going. Every time I go to the doctor, they're like, oh, you're still 5'6". I'm like, okay, still 5'6".
Yes. You got a long ways to go before you start to shrink. But yeah, it is. It's hard to let go of some of those things, and because if you strip back something, then you're vulnerable on some level. And I think that the way I grew up, and I was very defensive, and I was very like, I'm just gonna fuck you before you fuck me, and that kind of. And I sensed a little bit of that coming from you in your book too, where it's like,
oh my God, especially like with the men experiences I had early age, like teenager, definitely made me angry and very like self-protective. But honestly, like when I look back, there were tons of other examples I did not share in the book. I had a football player threaten me, like how he's going to get all these guys to like gang rape me. I mean, seriously, like crazy shit.
God.
And I remember this like fiery, badass version of myself being like, well, then I'm going to have all the people in this neighborhood come and beat the shit out of you. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like tit for tat, but I was like, absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. But, we live in this kind of world where you have to listen to your gut in these situations, but also understand that we're all in a dynamic. All the people that we interact with are in the dynamic of learned behavior, systems of oppression, pain. Like we're all experiencing elements of exuded pain. And I really do believe like healing and having a coach or a therapist, like actively investing in that, talking to friends, like the best way to counteract that insecurity / superiority, however you want to perceive that, because I think listeners and viewers probably like have their own word for it or language for that, is just curiosity. And like, how might I be more curious about this person instead of judging them? Do I want to take the time to ask a question? Do I want to question why I'm being kind of harsh on them? Am I harsh on myself? Is that what's happening? And it's like, oh yeah, I am harsh on myself. Oh, well, why am I so harsh on myself? Do I deserve that? Like I didn't do anything. So finding more gentleness. And I think in that you feel a lot of freedom and lightness. And I believe like that is something we can all try to do every day. Like even if you're driving and you're pissed off, somebody cut you off and you're like freaking out. I'm from Jersey. So the road rage is fierce, but brief. Like there's really like you forget about it in literally 30 seconds. Like you don't even care, but you're like rage core. And my wife, who was born in California, it's like
different. Yeah.
That was really terrifying. And she's like, what on earth? I'm like, oh yeah, it's fine. And she's like, no, that's not fine. And I think it's just these moments where even in like, what was that all about? And why am I so angry? Like, where is this even coming from? Where did I learn this? Okay, I learned it in New Jersey, but like, where does that come from?
Right.
And just stripping away and tilling the soil of all the vegetables, not the peeling the onion, but all the vegetables and how it feeds people and ourselves. Till it.
Yeah. Yes, I love that. And I love that you brought that up about how, things just happen and to be curious about them. And I always say that, to my clients and to myself and my friends, it's like, just take a minute. I mean, why? Yeah. Start being curious. And I think I've always been curious about everything else in the world. Why not be curious about the things that sort of set you off as well?
Yeah.
And why do I feel that way? Why is that person triggering me? Why
sorry.
that person?
Yeah, I say sorry a lot more now. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna own up to this. You probably don't even know this, but when I showed up that way, I wasn't my best self. Here's what was happening for me. I'm curious what was happening for you. And I'm sorry I showed up that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Own it. And it's okay. It's somebody, because we don't know, like if I encounter you and you're having a bad day or you're having something going on, I don't know.
That's right.
That you just found out that your mother has stage 4 cancer, or I don't know what is really going on in your life. And you don't know what's going on in mine either. And so to just have a little grace for the people around us and the people that we encounter, I think is really important. So thank you very much for bringing that up, because it makes you feel lighter because you're not harboring. And this is, we're not harboring, resentment and judgment and all of this stuff. And I'm going to go back to the horses, because this is the kind of coaching that I do.
I love
horses don't judge you. They don't care about any of that. And they also don't hold on to these things like we do. Like they don't stand around the water trough and go, oh my God, did you remember last month when Joe kicked me? I can't even believe that. They don't do that. They don't okay, message received, moving on. Thank you very much. Right. That's just how they, that's how they communicate. And they don't hold a grudge.
They feel. They can sense so much. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I've had nudges when I'm feeling really sad and a horse puts their entire gorgeous head up to you and just sort of lets you know you're seen and felt. I mean, that transcends so much of this physical world.
Yeah.
It feels like a different dimension.
It's amazing. And coaching with horses or working with horses or just being around them, just being in their presence, right? That was my safe, happy place when I was a kid, going to the barn, because I knew I could just hang out there, be myself, whatever.
I'd love to visit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Come to Washington. You're not that far. And also, if you have the opportunity, I'm bringing a screening of this film. You may have already heard about it, Rescued Hearts. Two queer filmmakers, Dana Crocier. I actually interviewed them both. And
I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, Dana Crocier and Chrisanna Sexton made this gorgeous film called Rescued Hearts, and it's all about the horse-human connection, the healing, the everything on both sides. And I'm hosting a screening here in the Seattle area, and there are multiple screening events around. And I know that they just did some in the California area. So perhaps you can, get one, go to see the film. Absolutely. It's an amazing film. Actually, right now they're doing an online virtual screening of the first portion of the film. So you can do that as well. And I'll send you the information as well. But I know you'll appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I know I will too. Wow, that sounds amazing.
It's a beautiful film. Beautiful film. Okay. So there we have it. It just came to mind as I was talking about how horses communicate. So we've kind of covered a lot of ground in very different areas, all connected. What would you like to, as we're sort of, wrapping things up and putting things together, what is a message that you can give women? Like, like you said, you had an early middle age crisis, but it can happen at any age. It can happen at 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, whatever. Midlife crisis. What is your advice to someone who is questioning or just not sure what to do at this point in their life?
Yeah, I am thinking a lot because in some ways I've met a lot of female clients who are leaders who are just sort of on this hamster wheel that I'm like, oh man, trying to help figure out how to even like, do I show a mirror? Is this even the right time? Do I meet them where they're at? What does that even mean? I've been there, but I'm not there and I don't want to be there. I don't want to put judgment on them because maybe that's not the correct perception. So it's been interesting, like watching women who are like fantastic, badass leaders, but like badassness truly, as I said earlier, is kind of this slowing down, this more curiosity, more playful, more grounded, not control. So I think maybe one tip is do a little self-scan of your relationship to control. I think for a lot of us, it can come across as perfectionism. And there's an anxiousness in the connection between wanting to be perfect or I need to do all these things to be seen as valuable. And only through that value am I worthy or enough. It's very Brene Brown of me to share, which I love her. I think she's amazing.
Yeah, she is.
I would definitely recommend that if we do have a relationship around performance to please others, to people please, to have performance equate to value, just to like wake up in the morning and say, I woke up this morning full 100% tank of value already, just by waking up. I'm already 100% value. Anything happening for the rest of the day is just bonus. And I think what tiny little mental shifts in a mental model like that give a lot of freedom to say, like, there is no such thing as trying to pursue greatness today. It is already just a day and live in the present. Mm-hmm. And everything else is just a bonus. Like, and that's great. Like I'm going to celebrate those bonus wins. And if I don't have any, that's okay because I've already hit full tank.
I love that. Yeah. Starting off with a full tank and being grateful for that full tank.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, anything after that is a bonus. And yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. I love that. I love that. And I do think that slowing down, especially now with all of the things that are going on in the world, in the country, in the world, and everywhere else, let go of some of that stuff and, don't be absorbed in it every second of every minute of every day because it will eat you alive.
That's also a really great wisdom nugget. I feel like, Sue, it's like choose what you're feeding yourself.
Yeah.
Like physically the food, the mental food, the emotional food, like how are you tilling your own soil? Because we get to choose that. We have a lot of choice making that we get to do. And I love that what you said is kind of like decide how much is too much if you're consuming a lot of the news and it's really creating a lot of emotional or mental or even physical turmoil, which I think is happening to a lot of people. But you get to choose, like, I'm not going to feed myself in this way, and I need to balance the nutrition elsewhere. I remember then there was a lot of like self-care and wellness, and now in a lot of companies, especially the stripping of DEI, it's very aggressively like the bottom line, having high performance and efficiency at all costs, and the cost is people's wellness.
Yeah.
And not seeing talent as your number one asset anymore. They're dispensable and I can get more if I need to for cheaper, and to do a lot less just to keep the lights running is not a great place for people at all to feel empowered or secure. But slowing down, at least these are things we can control, we can do. And again, control, I say that lightly because there's so much out of our control, and to be open to the universe and like discovery and what is it that we want? How can we connect with people? What can we do in our little orbit to help heal some of the fractured world that we're in. Like, we really are in such a fractured world, and it's still very much run by men.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely a pattern. I mean, let's look at patterns. There's big patterns. And I'd be really curious to see where would we be, if women, and especially this kind of transformational badass woman who's not following the same script of said pattern, how will they run? Like, maybe it's time for all of us to be running things, because it's not looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We definitely would be in a very different place.
I believe so.
I do. I feel it. And so what we can do is that, like you said, in our own circles, in our own communities, in our own spheres, show up with a full cup, and so that then we can help support the people that don't have a full cup, and that, help them understand, help them be more curious, help them learn how to fill their cup and fill their whatever. Fill your whole bathtub, not just your cup. Fill your whole world. Yeah. Oh, Ingrid, I mean, we could go on and on. We might have to do a part 2.
But exciting.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. I would love that. Because I feel like there's so many things that I wanted to talk to you about. And we just sort of touched on a few of them. But
we'll part 2 it up.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Because I know you have a time constraint. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for your book. Thank you for your journey. Thank you for sharing your journey with not just me, but with the world. And I do know that your book will resonate. And if I will put the link in the show notes for people to get your book.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's definitely one that you need to listen to or read or both. And enjoy.
Thanks, Sue.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate you.
Yeah, you too. I already feel like we were friends. So
I know. I felt like that when I was.
I'm like, we're friends.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we don't live that far from each other.
No.
We're just, a state away. So yeah, definitely. We'll have to do something with the horses for sure. I do have a retreat coming up in Paso Robles in October.
Please send me the info. I have a book event in Seattle in August.
Oh, you do?
So we're just going to be hanging out.
When in August?
August 15th.
No.
At Charlie's Queer Bookstore.
Okay. That's when I'm doing the screening.
What?
I'm doing the screening on the 16th.
What? Oh, I'll be in Vancouver for another event.
Oh, shoot.
If I could see you on the 15th, that would be awesome.
Well, I have to. Okay, we'll talk offline.
Okay.
All right, everybody, thank you. All right. Thank you so much for being here. And we're going to definitely keep in touch. And thank you everyone for listening. If this show has resonated, please share it with a friend. Please rate the show, like the show, subscribe. I don't know, all that stuff that I have to beg for at the end of this thing. I'm not begging. I'm like, this is such a treat for me to bring you guests like Ingrid. So please share it with a friend. All right. That's all I'm going to say about that. You're welcome. Thanks. Have a great day. And that, my badass friends, is a wrap. Ingrid Hu Dahl reminded us today that the real glow up isn't about titles, achievements, or anyone else's damn approval. It's about slowing down, staying curious, and showing up with a full tank of value. Because your worth is not up for debate. You woke up today? Yeah, you're already enough. If this episode stirred something in you, please share it with a friend, rate and review the podcast, and get your hands on sun shining on morning snow. It is a true gift. And hey, don't wait for permission to live boldly. You are not too late. You are right on time.